This is Press Center.
The first topic we have has to do with the criticism that have trailed the Senate approval of electronic transmission. Eventually they did. But it's been a week of drama, Samson. A week of drama because it was interesting seeing Peter Obi and the Obedient Movement occupying the National Assembly. It was also very interesting seeing that the next day, Chibike Amechi joined. He didn't join alone. He joined with his son, talking of a generation of transgeneration protesters and taking back your country. We have also seen how the civil organizations, the impact they have tried to make in trying to let the political elites to know that the issues of election and what happens to Nigeria, that Nigerians are really interested, watching, and they are interested in it. I want that to possibly be our first topic now. But please, producer will have to guide us with, help us with a backup, a visual backup of what happened in the Senate, where there was an uproar and the sitting became a bit cantankerous, and we saw what happened. So, studio, please help us with that backup, please.
Distinguished colleagues, this is the motion. This is the motion. It's very simple. If you disagree with him, move your counter motion. So if you agree with him, you agree with me when I put the votes. When I ask for the votes, when I ask for your consent, let me read the motion. His earlier motion which passed in our last sitting, he has sought to rescind that, that is in respect of section 60 subsection 3. And this is what it is. That the presiding officer shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to the IRF portal. And such transmission shall be done after the prescribed form EC8A has been signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned by the candidates or polling agents where available at the polling units, because sometimes you don't see any polling agent. Provided that if the electronic transmission of the result fails, if it fails as a result of communication failure, in other words, maybe network or otherwise, and it becomes impossible to transmit the result electronically in Form EC8A, signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned candidates or polling agents where available at the polling unit. The Form EC8A shall in such a case be the primary source of collation and declaration of results. So, distinguished colleagues, if anybody has a counter motion, you move it later. But in the meantime, those in support of the motion as enunciated by Senator Mongunu and seconded by Senator Bamoro say aye. And those again say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, point of order.
Mr. President, my name is Naya Baribe, and I represent Abia South. My point of order is Order 72, Mr. President.
No.
Any senator may challenge the opinion of the president or the chairman by claiming a division. Mr. President, I claim a division.
In respect of?
We need to vote individually now.
Yes.
That motion.
Mr. Sampson, I'm sure you followed with that. This appears to be a defining moment in Nigerians' history. There appears to be this consensus that Nigeria is not lacking in terms of human material resources. But like Professor Chinua Achebe said in one of his books, The Trouble with Nigeria, it does appear that the issue of leadership, defining leadership, and critical to this is the mode of emergence of leadership, which is central to issue of electoral transparency. And that is why it appears that Nigerians are insistent that if their votes must count, let the outcome of the result from the polling unit, the polling booth, be transmitted electronically. Same time. You understand?
Yes.
But here we have a situation where the people that are represented, I mean the senators who are representing the people, are trying to, I think Atiku Abubakar called it a few hours ago, hybrid, that it can be this, it can be that, providing alternative. Should electronic transmission not work, let there be a manual transfer. And the feeling there is that this leads to compromise, this leads to an opaque system, this leads to confusion, and provides a legal alibi that we decided to transfer it with hand after signing the form because the electronic transmission failed. Why do you think the Senate is insistent on going against what appears to be the popular will of the people? Please, could you just...
Now, we have to bear it in mind that the Senate is APC dominated, okay, and you wouldn't blame people to think that the senators in the Senate there don't want these electronic transmission of results to succeed with the way they are going about it, because you ask this question and you wonder, I mean, what is so bad about using modern technology to enhance the process of election? I mean, this is not new technology. It has been working over time. Okay, but then why shouldn't these be instilled into our own process of electing people who will stand and represent us, who would lead us? Okay, when you see this kind of action going on like this, it makes you wonder, like, what is there? What's the big deal? And then the only available thought to you is, okay, these certainly some people want or stand to lose something if this comes into if this comes to stay. Talking about e-transmission of results.
Yeah, come to think of it, democracy all over the world is about the people. And election is supposed to be the expression of the will of the people.
Yeah, right.
Through the sacred ballot box. And if it is expressed, then the fellow who comes out as the winner now carries the mandate of the people. But again, he has to trace the ascendancy of that mandate to the people. But do you still think that democracy will survive in a system where some persons think that the people can be factored out of it, and there could be ways that you could short circuit?
That would not be democracy anymore. That would sound more like authoritarianism, okay? Because when you take the people out of it, that's not democracy anymore, okay? And in essence, you're disenfranchising them. You're saying that their votes don't count. You don't need them to be in power. So certainly that would not be democracy anymore. And if care is not taken, that's what we're driving towards, okay? We say...
Okay, are there indicators that we are moving towards that already?
Of course, as it stands, why not? I mean, as far as Nigerians will tell you, they can't remember when last they had a free and fair election. Right? Sure. So,
and somebody did say at some point that there was a surge in the person of Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Now, when he felt he was robbed of a particular election, he laid curse on Nigeria that this generation will never witness a true democracy.
well,
If a curse is laid, what does it take to upturn such curse?
Well, I pray that curse is not really happening right now. And even if it is, I hope God will help us
to upturn the curse.
To just take it off.
So that we could see true democracy play out in our time.
Because we should not be suffering for something that we did not partake in way back.
Okay.
Way back in the 60s. I mean, that wouldn't be such a fair experience for Nigerians at all. Okay, but then the thing is, presently as it stands, we are not practicing what democracy should be. Okay, the people who are in charge, who represent us in, as it is called, hallowed chambers, of which I doubt if it's as hallowed as it's supposed to be anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because personally speaking, my own personal opinion is these. Our senators and our reps, they fail to know, they don't understand why they are there anymore. Okay, they don't represent Nigerians as much as they should.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as I see, that's not really a hallowed chamber, because I can't, now I'm airing my own point of view now, because I can't understand why something as important, something as sweet as real-time transmission of election results would be fought against. I mean, people talking about things like, remember at some point the Senate President was even talking on behalf of INEC, saying that this thing cannot stand because some states across the country don't have the capacity to, or don't have
they don't have network.
Yes,
so it cannot be sustained.
E-transmission of results, so it cannot be sustained. And then the big question became, why should you be speaking for INEC? INEC has told you that, as far as we're concerned, we are ready to go into this election. We are prepared to accommodate e-transmission of results. So who made you INEC spokesman? Like, we should be hearing this from INEC chairman, not from the Senate.
To talk about their capacity.
Yes.
Or lack of it.
Or lack of it.
Yeah, but meanwhile, while you were speaking, Mr. Sampson, something just dawned on me. I began to have this feeling whether our democracy is not already being endangered. You know, at the press center, you say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You know, so come to think of it, one of the key principles of democracy, one of the key tenets of democracy is about separation of power. Drawn from the understanding, age-long understanding, that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So for there to be a balancing of power, you have the judiciary, you have the executive, and you have the legislature. But it does appear that what operates currently is an executive of a particular political party, a legislature, that's National Assembly, that is dominated by that same political party, and of course, a judiciary that sings for Mr. President, on your mandate we shall stand. Then come to think of it, you find out that the three arms of government in a democracy appear to be under the control of one political party. In which case, you find out that the voice of the opposition will almost always be swallowed up,
Drowned out.
and you may be pandering dangerously towards anarchy.
That's what I'm saying. Our political class have lost the essence of politics. Now, admittedly, there will be some unpalatable aspects of politics. Yes, but then, yes, of course. But then the thing is, there should be, even more than the unpalatable aspects of politics, the good and genuine side of it, which is you representing the collective masses, and then ensuring that you do things that will favor the masses. But now we see a situation here presently where it is not about the masses, it is about your allegiance to your political party.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that undermines the kind of undermines democracy in Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. This is not democracy at this point anymore, because as it stands right now, the people are being taken out of the picture. If the people are not being taken out of the picture, how come we see right here in the Senate there's a whole lot of bickering whether something as useful, something as progressive as e-transmission of results, would be such a big deal? Bickering goes on over this thing. I mean, this is a clear sign that democracy, and thankfully I like Nigerians' reaction.
Okay.
Okay, when this whole thing was going on, because it dawns on Nigerians to be the ones to fight and
take back their country.
Definitely. Okay.
And see that democracy is sustained.
It's sustained. They cannot sit back and allow a few collection of people rob them of their democratic rights. And thankfully, that's what we've seen lately. That's what we saw. Although it didn't turn out as well as Nigerians would have loved it to turn out, because we still had that caveat.
The message was sent all the same.
The message was still
sent. Was sent.
Now we still have that caveat there that says this thing, what's it called? Manual transfer of.
Should the electronic fail?
Yes, we still have that caveat there to deal with. So as far as we see it, as far as I see it, it is still like you're leaving the door halfway open. You are meant to shut it entirely. But then you created the impression that yes, you've shut it, you've locked it. Meanwhile, you didn't lock it, you left it.
I think it was Ezekwesili that described it as pandering towards ambiguity.
Definitely, and that's what it is.
Or you are speaking from two sides of your mouth. That is not credibility, and it doesn't make. So while we try to wrap up this, particular topic, why do you think the average Nigerian politician, who is supposedly a Democrat, is afraid of a free and fair election? Why?
Because politics in our country now has become too incentivized. Okay, it has become something whereby, wow, you see, people do say something. They say, if you see somebody squandering money anyhow, it is either he's a politician or he's an online scammer.
Or
right?
both.
Or both. In essence, they're trying to tell you that these are people who have access to money that they really didn't work hard for. So now we know for a fact that politics is something that is so lucrative in the country. Okay, people, Nigerian politicians have gotten to that point where corruption has eaten deep.
That accountability seems to have fled, taken a flight.
Certainly.
Because if you are accountable to the people, then you'll be careful about your actions and be guided, so that prosperity can judge you well. Yeah, we look forward to Nigerians actually taking back their country. We also look back to the Senate representing the will of the people, and seeing to it that people's views and expressed votes do count. That is the only way our democracy can grow. So that's that about that topic in today's press center. But we shall be moving to the second topic, which has to do with a government and a governor, a state government, which punishes principals for students' failure to attend classes.
This is Press Center.